All right, we are live. Good morning, Real Closers. Happy Monday. I hope you had an awesome weekend. Today we're back, and every Monday, 8:30, with Gustavo from Power ISA. And today we're actually going to talk about a very important topic. We talked about last couple of weeks. We talked about ISAs, methods of getting more listings. But now let's dial into what can ISA do for you. Top 5 things an ISA can do for your business right now. So why don't we talk about that, Gustavo?
Yeah, definitely. And for the folks that don't know, ISA means inside sales agent, essentially a telemarketer for real estate. It's something you can add to your team that helps you make calls to the leads coming in. They can also do prospecting. Those are the 2 main areas I think that ISAs can affect a business. If you're purchasing leads, if you're getting a lot of organic inbound leads, we have a client that gets 500 organic inbound leads every month. Out in Port St. Lucie, Florida, right? Very popular part of the country right now. They get 500 organic. So they have a full-time ISA. All they do is call those leads, inbound organic leads, right? So if you're getting inbound leads via pay-per-click, Google, Facebook, organic, whatever it is, an ISA can help convert those. And if you're doing outbound prospecting, looking for those listings, like leaving no stone unturned for those listings, an ISA can kind of help with that too. And as you build your team, right, you get people helping you leverage lead generation. So I get this question a lot. Okay, great. What can the ISA do for me, Gus? Can you be more specific than that? Right? Inbound and outbound, that's pretty broad, right? So I'm going to get specific real quick and going to give you the top 5 things from my perspective that you can do, that an ISA can do for you, and that the top teams are using an ISA for right now, right? And the number one reason is the very first, source I mentioned. When you're buying a lot of inbound leads, the number one thing that an ISA can help you out with is speed to lead. That's the number one thing, because if you're buying leads at any kind of volume, whether it's 50 a month, 100 a month, or 500 a month, you understand that if you are not quick to respond to them, you're already behind the 8 ball. You're already going to be, it's a losing proposition if you're not on it right away, whether it's responding to a text message from a lead. Because let's say a text goes automatically out to them. What if they respond, right? They want a response, and maybe you've got some chatbots, some AI. There's only so much that chatbot can do before it actually needs someone jumping in and helping them out, right? But they're really there for the call. That's the most important thing they can do. Hit that call. Everyone's familiar, or a lot of people are familiar in the internet lead generation space with this really famous MIT study that looked at lead response times for inbound internet leads. And they said, if you respond within 5 minutes, your chances of converting the lead are like triple, quadruple the amount, right? Versus calling them after that. What people don't know is that people know less about is that they recommended contacting the lead within 30 seconds, right? Because that increases it even more. And it's kind of crazy for real estate agents, Roberto, because you can't do that, right? You're doing other activities. You're showing homes, you're attending appointments, you're making other calls, you're doing all these different activities, you're wearing all this, you're putting on a fire with a transaction, with a listing, whatever it is, with a buyer, you're responding to your clients. You can't always respond within 5 minutes, let alone 30 seconds, right? The way the top teams solve this problem is with ISAs, right? They do it. And I'll tell a quick story. And I have 4 other reasons to get to. I'll tell you a quick story. I just went shopping for homeowners insurance for a rental property. And, it was in Seattle, Washington. I wanted to get a lot abroad. And I also kind of want to do this experiment. I was curious about this. I probably filled out, I think, 12, no less than 10, and no more than 15 applications. I can't remember the exact number, but it was like a dozen different applications to different insurance, local insurance companies in that area, Seattle. And it was crazy. One person diligently responded right away, started the conversation, got my information, confirmed everything I had submitted already, and started the process. And another person called me later. That was it, out of a dozen potential people. And insurance is like real estate. They rely a lot on those inbound internet leads. It's a big part of their business, right? So 2 people responded. One of them right away. One of them called me, but called me almost 2 days later. Almost 2 days later to respond to a new lead, wanting to get a quote, wanting their business, right? So that's the importance of speed to lead. I ended up going with the person that got back to me first because they ended up being a really good option. And they're on it. They've got their process in place. They know what to do, right? So it's a big part. Speed to lead is huge. Number 2, effective follow-up, right? It's not just about responding right away. You're going to get some conversions out of that, no doubt. You're going to get some conversions. Absolutely, you will. but anywhere between 80-90% of people, or even more than that, are going to need more follow-up. They're not going to respond right away. You're not going to get a huge contact rate off that first touch, especially if it's Facebook or Google leads. They just have a longer cycle to convert, right? So an ISA is there. Agents are really good at making that first call or sending that first text, right? They're really good at that. They're excellent at that, right? The champions of that, the first call. The second call, not so good. Third call, fourth call, fifth call, it gets even worse. It's tough for them to keep up because number one, if they have another lead coming in, they'd rather talk to that person than do the third, fourth, fifth call on an old lead. They don't see the value in it. However, the numbers don't lie. If you want to convert internet leads at a high level, right? If you want to, whether it's, or I don't care if it's organic or Facebook, Google, realtor.com, doesn't matter. You've got to put in the work. It takes 15, 16 touches in a 30-day period. A lot of those are calls, by the way. Most of those are calls. It takes 16 touches in a 30-day period to even have a shot at converting those leads. You can probably get a 50%, up to a 50% contact rate, like talk to half of those leads if you're putting in that work. Most agents don't even get to 5 touches in a 30-day
They get disappointed, right? They get disappointed.
They get disappointed. They get frustrated. They see no reason to, right? Oh man, I've called it 3 times. They're not picking up. They're not going to pick up, right? So number one, the ISA is there to help make sure you continue with that plan, and you can alternate between calls and texts, right? Really, really important to alternate these touch methods. And it's important to have an ISA on it. So really, really important to do, really, really important to understand, to make sure that someone is doing the work, all right? And the top teams do not rely on the main sales agent or other partner agents to do that, right? Because they know it's very tough to get them to do it, and for a long period of time. Very, very difficult. They solve it with an ISA. Number three, another way an ISA can impact your business is calling your database, right? Top teams have ISAs. We have a few teams that have a database so large, they have a full-time person just calling database. Forget Zillow, realtor.com, Google, Facebook. They just call database because it's so important for them. And they have a massive database, right? So depending on what your needs are, you might have a personal sphere database that's only a few hundred people of the size. That's fine. You might have a database of unmet leads. I call this also part of your database, unmet leads, internet leads, old aged internet leads that might be also a huge gold mine for you, but you're not prospecting it, right? The only thing worse than not calling an internet lead as soon as they come in is never calling them at all. That's probably the second worst thing you can do, right? Oh, these leads are old. I never got in contact with them. They were top of the funnel 6 months ago. They might be further down the funnel now. And the phone call that every agent hates to make is the one where you call that lead on follow-up and they tell you, I don't need it anymore. I'm good. I already bought a home. And guess what? I sold one too, right? Sorry. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good to go now.
We've had those.
Oh, yeah, it absolutely happens, right? And you're like, man, because you're thinking, you know what? I just called them last month. There's no reason to call them again. I'll move it out a few more months. 6 months later, you call them and they've already bought a home, right? So the challenge there is understanding the value of that database, right? The database can be the foundation of your business, even if it's your past clients. So many agents, Roberto, dread calling their past clients. Oh, what am I going to say? I've never called them since we closed on that property. What's going on? Have your ISA make the call, can take a lot of that edge off and say, we're just checking in, see how things are going with that property. How's it been going for you? Invite them to your next event. Offer them some value. Your vendor list. Do they need help with, well, we're right at the end of tax season. Do they need help with property tax information? What do they need? Offer some value and then make the ask about the referral. Value first, referral second. You can make those calls. If you're at a certain stage in your business, your ISA can help you make those calls and stay on top of that database. Huge, huge, huge. Number 4, now we're switching over to the outbound prospecting space, right? Number 4, the top teams, right, are making sure that their ISAs are calling all around their listings. Anytime they get a listing, or they're on the buy side on a property, they don't care actually. Anytime they have a reason to call everyone, they just bought or listed or just sold a home, whether they're the listing agent or the buyer agent, right? They're taking advantage of that. They're doing just listed, just sold campaigns around their listings or homes they just bought or sold. And they're also making sure they invite the neighbors to their open houses. These agents are top agents because they even include as part of their listing presentation that they have staff that can make phone calls and prospect. They're looking for buyers for that listing. Oh, the home can sell itself. Well, I want 50 people trying to buy the home, not 5 people trying to buy the home, right? So you have an ability to market that ability to prospect around those listings. A properly marketed listing, a properly prospected listing can give you another transaction right off the bat, right? Just from the neighbors that are around. And they can be impressed that you have that ability to not just market the property, but prospect that area. Top teams are not letting any listing go to waste. They use the listing to get the next deal, the next 2 deals. They want to get more people interested. And advertising, marketing, and prospecting are some of the best ways to do that, right? Really, really important. Number 5. So like I said, top teams are focusing around their listings. They're being strategic that way. But number 5 can be prospecting. Oh, you know what? I missed one in number 4. If you don't have listing, and this, I was just talking to a mega agent out of Southern California. Even if they don't have listings, they call with their ISA around areas where they have multiple buyers looking for. Everybody has that, right? And if you don't have a bunch of listings in an area, you probably have a bunch of buyers in an area. They have ISAs making geographic farming in the areas where they have multiple buyers because the script is great. Hey, I've got 5 buyers looking for a home in this property, in this area. Who do you know that might be thinking of selling, right? So really important. Everyone should give that a try and see if it can work for you. Now, number 5 is prospecting other kinds of lists. And we've talked about this here in Power Hour, right? And this is where absentee owners come in. This is where downsizers come in. This is where all those different tips and tricks we've talked about, right? That's how they're doing it. That's another way an ISA can help out. If you don't have time to call the absentee owners, you don't have time to call the downsizers, the for rent by owners. The only people left that aren't being called by every single person every single day, like expireds and FSBOs are, those are where the opportunities are. And this is crazy. The people that have taken my advice and run with this are talking to motivated sellers every single day with this tactic, right? You're talking to them, you're getting on the phone with them. You don't have to spend thousands of dollars in internet leads to talk to a potentially motivated seller. You can get them on the phone, right? And somebody you can add a lot of value to as an absentee owner. So that's it, Roberto. 5 ways an ISA can impact your business. All of the, if you notice, all of these topics you can do on your own. You should do on your own. You should be doing right now, right? As you scale up, you need leverage, and ISA can help get in there and get you even busier.
Yeah, absolutely. And you touched on stuff that, agents should be doing right now, right? Speed to lead. If they want to start converting more internet leads, a lot of people say, oh, internet leads don't work.
With that.
Right. So there's actually one more question. Maybe you can help us answer it. And I do get this a lot. All right. So I understand what an ISA can do for me. You've just covered top 5 things an ISA can do for you right now.
Yeah.
Question is, when should you start with an ISA?
Oh, great. That's a really good question. That is a really, really good question. So my recommendation is an ISA should not be your first hire. It shouldn't be there, right? You're building the team in the incorrect way. Your number 1 hire should always be someone to take off some of that administrative work, transaction coordination work, whether it's a contract transaction coordinator, whether it's a part-time or full-time admin assistant. That should be your first hire, right? Because they're going to help you be more productive right off the bat. You can prospect more or talk to more people, engage with the database more. Whatever it is you do to get deals in, you can do more of that. When you have that administrative support, then it's time to up the lead generation, lead prospecting, lead conversion game, right? Doing it the other way around. I'm not saying you can't be successful. I'm just saying you're into it for a world of pain. It's the wrong thing to do, right? Once you've got that admin support, that admin assistant, then you can start adding ISA to go in there. If you generate a huge amount of buyer leads instead of get buyer's agents to help, so ISA can feed the buyer's agents. If you're focusing on listings, you might not even need an additional agent. It's just you, the ISA, and the admin. So I think when you're in that space, right? If you're a brand new agent, you shouldn't be thinking about ISA. Get on the phone. Get on the phone and do everything I just said, but on your own. And you get traction with that. And then you start adding people to your team. If you don't have traction, if an ISA is like, okay, I have 0 deals, let me hire an ISA to get some deals, that's the wrong thing to do. It's a losing proposition. An ISA, this is the key point I want to make, Roberto. An ISA will be successful if you're connecting them to a successful system, a successful process, right? If you're bringing an ISA into the unknown, well, I don't know if this will work or not, but I bet the ISA will make it work. You already have 1 foot back, right? That's a tougher position to start from. An ISA should complement, augment, increase, add leverage to an existing lead generation system. An ISA shouldn't be, well, let's see if this can work. I heard this works. That's a wrong way to approach it. We see it a lot, right? Sometimes you have to actually help make sure that the client has a clear idea, number one, of what the ISA is going to do on their team. And we talk about that. That'd be a great topic for another session. How to be ready. How do you know when to hire an ISA? Because the big part of that is knowing what are they going to do on your team. If that isn't clear, you're not ready to hire an ISA.
All right, let's cover that next Monday then, because that is a question I get a lot. It's like, all right, look, I'm
when is
ready.
A good time?
Yep, right. All right, Gustavo, thank you so much. We do this every Monday, 8:30. And now this video is going to be not going into our YouTube channel because we did not record it. Oh, man.
Well, next one. Well, the people that saw this live or seen in the group, you're privileged to see it, right? So absolutely.
All right, man. Have a good one, and I'll talk to you later.
All right. Thanks. Bye.